Hi everyone, I'm Aaron and welcome to my channel Healing with Aaron. So today I'm going to be talking about a really sensitive subject, which is body dysmorphia. And I have to say I'm not a therapist. I'm going to be speaking about my own experience of body dysmorphia. I went to a funeral today, and that's why I'm dressed like this. And it was someone who was very dear to me, who passed away long before their time, but they lived a very full life, and that reminded me, that we don't know how much time we have on earth. So it's really important that, you do things that make you happy. And part of that is being authentic and living in your own truth. So I'm going to be speaking about my own experience of body dysmorphia. And this is difficult for me to talk about. I feel a bit uncomfortable because I've never really gone into detail with anyone, at least not, comprehensively, about what I've experienced. So yeah, what is body dysmorphia? So it's a mental health condition where people obsessively fixate on their body or their physical appearance, and the cause of that can be due to other presenting conditions such as depression, obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, or, someone who's experienced abuse in their past. And I've experienced all three of those things. And people who suffer from body dysmorphia, they fixate and they obsess about their physical appearance because that is something that they can control, when perhaps other aspects of their lives are out of control. So before I had the surgery, I was morbidly obese. At my heaviest, I weighed, just under 27 stone, so that's like 170 kilograms. And I would wear a lot of black because black is slimming, and I would want to hide my body in what I was wearing. I'd always wear like a black hoodie, and people thought I wore the same clothes all the time, but really I had just loads of black clothes in my wardrobe. But now, since I had the surgery and I've lost weight, I don't recognize myself in the mirror anymore. You go about your day, your mundane things that you do, your 9-to-5 job, and I'll forget throughout the day what I look like now. Mentally, I still think that I am the same weight I was before. And part of that is because I lost, such a large amount of weight in a short amount of time. I lost 12.5 stone in 7 months. So I lost 173 pounds in just 7 months' time. So I forget what it is that I look like now. So I look in the mirror a lot. I'll just be walking down the street and I'll see my reflection, in a window, and I'll be like, oh, that's what I look like. I forget all the time. And I feel like I have to look perfect, even though I know there's no such thing as perfection. It's subjective. We all see the world differently. through our own unique lens and our own unique viewpoint. So there's no such thing as perfection. I obsess over how I look and my appearance. Even the smallest imperfection to me, I could have a pimple or like a small spot, like a whitehead on my face, and it will freak me out, and it will set me off on a spiral because I feel like I don't look perfect. When I get up in the morning, if I have to go to the office and do my commute, I will get up at 5 a.m. in the morning. It'll take me 2 hours to get ready. I'll leave home about 7 a.m. I'll obsess about what I'm wearing, my appearance, how I look. I have 3 wardrobes full of clothes, so many clothes. I have shopping addiction, but that's another subject, and maybe I'll go into that in another video. But I just have this constant obsession that I have to look perfect or I have to look a certain way. And that stems from my biggest fear is that I will go back to how I looked before or the size that I was before, which, I've been told that it's very common for people who've had weight loss surgery to have that fear. I've met a lot of people who have had weight loss surgery, and they've told me, that they have the exact same thought process and fears and worries, and, they also suffer from body dysmorphia. I weigh myself regularly, once a week, every Friday. Because I've had weight loss surgery, and because the portion size that I eat is drastically reduced, my weight can vary wildly on a week-to-week basis. Some weeks my weight will go up 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, but then on a bad week, if I haven't been getting enough meals, I can lose a lot of weight in 1 week. A few weeks ago, I was really stressed out and really anxious about a few things, and I lost 6 pounds in 1 week, which is a lot. And, if that happened consistently, over a few weeks, then, that would add up, and I'd be in a position where, that's potentially damaging to my health. It's normal for people's weight to fluctuate due to things like water retention. I have to say that my BMI, my body mass index, is in the healthy weight range. So I'm fine, and I know how to take care of myself. I don't have an eating disorder. I eat 5 to 6 meals a day, roughly on average, and I have to focus on protein, which everyone who's had weight loss surgery, protein is the main thing that you have to focus on first, and then obviously fruits, vegetables, carbohydrates, a bit lower down, but protein is the main key thing that you have to focus on in terms of your diet. But what I do is I control my weight through exercise. I don't over-exercise. I exercise around 4 times a week. In terms of my measurements, before I had the surgery, my waist was 54 inches, and now I'm a size 28 to 30. I usually wear a 30-inch waist slim fit, so yeah, it's a big, drastic change in such a short amount of time. Something that makes me feel a bit disillusioned about the world is that since I had weight loss surgery and since I lost a lot of weight in such a short amount of time, people treat me differently. Complete strangers will, start a conversation with me, will talk to me, will say hello, will say have a nice day. And that didn't happen before. People would either completely avoid eye contact with me, just, pretend that you don't exist, or they would just sort of look at you in not a nice way. And because I lost weight in such a short amount of time, I recognize that a lot, how people treat me differently. Also, I get a lot more attention from men and women now, where people hit on me, or they'll stare at me, or they'll smile at me, and honestly, it makes me feel uncomfortable. Because I obsess with my own appearance, so I don't like it when people are looking at me, because it makes me feel uncomfortable. And I've also had people that I know hit on me, who I've known for a long time, and that's just very weird to me. I've had people from my past, like slide into my DMs and be flirtatious and stuff, and it's just very, very off-putting to me, because if you've known me for a long time, you knew what I looked like before, you knew what my weight was before, and you weren't interested. You never batted an eyelid at me, but now all of a sudden you are interested. So yeah, it makes me feel very disillusioned with people, and with wider society as a whole, and how they treat people who are overweight, and how they value beauty, or what they think beauty is, because we're all beautiful in our own way. I have to say that I don't regret having weight loss surgery at all. I never have this entire time. It's the best decision I've made in my entire life. I'm so much happier now than I was before. Experiencing body dysmorphia is just something that I have to navigate. It's part of this new journey. And by sharing my story and what I've been experiencing, I just want to create a safe space where we can have this open and honest discussion about body dysmorphia and about mental health, because connection and being honest and real and authentic is what's important to me, and it gives me a lot of emotional fulfillment. I've had so many messages from complete strangers on the other side of the world saying that they'd experienced similar things, or not even if they had, but everybody goes through something that you might not even know about. And if I've helped one person by sharing my story, then that means a lot to me. And the last thing that I want to say is, if you are suffering from body dysmorphia, it's really important that you get help from a mental health professional, a licensed therapist or counsellor. I've been in therapy for a number of years, and it's helped me a lot. So yeah, thank you for watching today. I hope that what I've shared has been meaningful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye.